if you yourself will grow to become old, you need to respect an elder. It's their right, just as you have individual rights today. Please, because that person you're giving respect has also given respect to the elderly ones, the ones before him.
I don't believe
you don't
respect
want to believe his
is a
word.
right. I believe respect is earned. You don't be entitled to respect of anybody.
Okay.
You
Okay.
earn respect.
Don't push it too far.
Okay,
Don't push it too far. Just hold on.
What up, y'all? Hey, listen, you part of another episode of O-Line Is.
Welcome.
We don't play no games.
Yes, indeed.
We here to show love.
Yes, indeed.
We here to do our thing. What's up, Ola?
Hey, what's good? Is
My man.
I'ma get busy with it right now. I'ma get busy with it right now. I'ma get busy with it right now.
we going? How the week?
Hey, you know it is
Just
what it
getting
is.
started. We
just getting started, baby. We just getting started. You know, the weeks of the weeks. And
Yeah.
what I've learned with life is it's you can quit or you can take it, you can grow and mold it into something, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's one thing that I've learned, that, you know, you got some people where they just quit and they just can't deal with it, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, it turns into like suicide or homelessness and all that stuff, right?
It's easy to give up.
Easy, bro.
Yeah.
It's easy. It's easy to give up.
Yeah.
Or you could take that energy and realize there's something bigger in the picture, and you can boss up and do what you need to
Master
do.
it. Yeah, master your craft.
My man.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yo, before we get started, what they need to do?
Make sure you comment below.
Talk to us.
Make sure you subscribe in the corner and share it up top.
Let's
Hey,
go.
them comments have been real juicy up in here. We appreciate those. So
Yeah.
keep it going. Like that motivates us to give y'all more content. Give y'all more O-Line Is. So keep them comments coming. On that note, man, you know, a lot of times people aren't so comfortable dropping a comment, right?
Okay.
And so on some of our content, I didn't share this with you before, but people been looking, and one of the comments was, "Is the O-Line Is like anti-women?"
That's what they said?
That was one of the comments. And so
I didn't even, what was that? What platform
it
was
was
that
a
on?
side comment. Like I said, people don't really drop comments. So a lot of times I'll get side conversations and they'll be like, "Hey man, is your content anti-women?" And I was just like, where would you get something like that? So just to dispel any of that,
Yeah. Talk to me.
we have always approached things in a well-balanced manner, I believe.
Absolutely.
And so not only do we address issues in femininity, but we also do in masculinity, because there's issues on both ends.
Absolutely.
And at the end of the day, ultimately, we would like to see unity. We would like to see people working together and actually see like unison versus one side being above the other one.
Yeah.
And so to address that comment as to whether or not we're anti, absolutely not. That's just not us.
Yeah, absolutely not. Ladies, listen, we are not anti-women at all. Listen, to be honest with you, we love our women.
Absolutely.
And that's not a cultural thing. That's just women in general. Like,
For sure.
As a man, you cannot, like, you got to understand, like, ladies, men are able to do what they do because of the woman. Think about it, right? Like, most of us as men, we talking about men, we go out here and grind every day. Why? Because we come home to the woman.
Yeah.
We come home to the kids.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
And that's
like-
an honor. That's
like,
an honor.
Bro, it's a blessing.
It's a blessing, yeah.
It's a blessing from the big man above.
True.
Like, ladies, we're not anti. The thing is, what we try to encourage is mental health for men.
Yeah.
And we try to encourage men to know their worth. And as you know, because we're men, I can't really speak on women per se. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah.
as a woman, I can't speak.
It's
what-
not our perspective. I
Yeah.
mean, like we can speak about it from a male perspective.
Yeah.
But it's only so limited.
Yeah,
you know?
And if you notice, and then ladies, check it out. If you go back and watch our videos, we actually encourage women to know their value and their worth.
Absolutely.
So we actually do. So for you that are giving side notes conversations, we love you, man. Just don't get it. Don't
get it twisted.
Don't get it twisted, baby. We wouldn't even have these conversations if it wasn't for y'all, man. Y'all
Absolutely.
are amazing. Y'all beautiful, and we blessed to have y'all.
For
you
sure.
know what I mean?
For sure.
So yeah, big dog.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you for bringing that up.
Oh,
Well, hopefully you
absolutely.
watching, man. Listen,
Yeah.
comment.
Yeah.
Like, use somebody else's name. Look, if you're not comfortable using your name,
Yeah.
Look,
A
I
little
get it.
alias, you know what I'm saying? Dropping, you know.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey, I gotta say so. This is a little side note though.
Okay.
Why you give me this chair, bro? Like, why my chair squeaking? I'm afraid to move because my chair keeps saying, Y'all ever see that chair? Like, everybody looking? Or you know what get me too? When people be like, stomachs be rumbling. I remember when I was young, right? I used to be like, when people stomach. Hey, bro, when I was.
People think you farted or something like that?
Not even that, bro. Think about it. You ever, when you was younger, right? You ever think people didn't hear your stomach rumbling?
Oh, yeah. I thought
Bro,
that was just me.
I thought it was just me, dog. And then I started realizing, like, yo, everybody
like,
can.
like, that joint is audible. It's
Hey,
definitely audible.
Hey, yo, this chair got me like.
Hey, if you fall off, that'll just go into the bloopers. So
Yeah, let's
we'll be
go
good.
into bloopers, baby. So if you hear my chair squeaking, you know, and it's funny because this is like the 3rd episode we done.
Yeah.
And his chair never squeaks.
Yeah, my joint is butter smooth.
He always. Oh man! All right, check it out. So listen, we're gonna start off with this. We got a couple topics. We got a couple topics. So basically, what we're gonna start off with is this. We got one video y'all gonna check out. We're gonna put some clips in there, but it talks about the older generation, right?
Yeah.
The older generation have a conversation with younger generation, and in this conversation, it gets a little crazy because the younger generation is like, you don't have no respect for us. You don't understand. We have wisdom to share. We have that. And the older generation is like, yeah, I get it, but why y'all don't come to us for advice?
Yeah.
Except that youth wants to be playing with fire, that should argue this statement that what an elder sees, they will never see. I was once your age, and I'm glad you agree. Your counterparts didn't come out. I just wonder what they're going to say. Listen, when I was your age and my parents were telling me a few things, I didn't see it. But now I'm older. I see they were damn right.
And it's funny because I think we get so much caught up in conversations between man and woman that what we don't realize is like we don't use our older generation like that.
That's true. And before we get into it, big ups to Jubilee. Jubilee
Okay.
hosted the video. They're huge platform. They cover a lot of various topics. They talk about just relationships big time. And we thought it'd be a good topic to share.
Yeah,
So
it's dope because think about it. How many of y'all you have your parents? You don't ever go to them, right? Think about it, bro.
man.
Like, let me ask you a question, right? And I'm gonna ask you in a minute.
Okay.
But think about it, bro. You was growing up. Did you feel like your parents understood you?
Honestly, I feel like if I'm be very transparent, I feel like I didn't understand.
Don't be, bro. Don't be. Be like partial transparent. Be like
If I'm
partial.
gonna be honest,
Yeah, if I'm gonna be honest with you, like lie to me, bro. Like, no, lie to me.
So, full transparency, I felt like I didn't necessarily know myself. A lot of times I felt like I just never really fit into any type of mold.
Okay.
And so for me to think that my parents would understand me, I would say, in answer to your question, no,
So
I didn't.
So, all right, now I didn't mean to cut you off too short.
Yeah.
It was like a little extra.
Yeah.
So, did you? When do you feel like right now? How old are you right now?
Say it again.
How old are you right now?
43.
Okay, you're 43.
Yeah.
When did you have you ever, or if you have ever,
Mm-hmm.
when did you actually go to them to get advice on something? Like, was there an age, or have you ever?
No, I have.
Okay, what age were you?
The level of comfort to come to them probably was in well, honestly, it was in my younger age. I used to write letters
give me
to,
age. Give me
I
age.
would say like 7, 8 years old.
Okay.
Where I was writing letters to like my parents. type
Okay,
of thing.
so we're not talking about. All right, so what we talking about? Let me bring you up to speed. What they talking about too? Think about it. When you 6, 7, 8, 9, your parents are your heroes,
Absolutely.
right? But then when you start hitting 13, 14, 15,
Yeah.
you start thinking you know more, and you start getting adapted to life based
Right.
on teenager, realms, right? In school and high school. I think high school is the most, middle school, but high school is the most impressionable ages where you start wondering, right? Or questioning.
True.
And you start questioning yourself. So you don't, you have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
When do you feel like once you, teenager wise, when after that did you start?
I would say probably around the age of 20, 21, to be honest. Yeah. I think
Okay, that's
that
good.
one I can vividly remember where I would actually reach out and ask questions about
Like what? Give me an
life
example. Give me an
affecting-
example. Like, give me an example.
So alcohol was like a big thing, right?
Okay.
And really, it was really about being not so comfortable about just drinking, right?
Okay.
And so it was huge for me. Like I never partook in any of it.
Okay.
And so once I got to that age, I felt a little bit more comfortable to talk about this type of thing.
Okay.
And so I think that on top of other things, like I just was able to open up and ask questions.
Okay.
And so, yeah, I would definitely say around the age of 2021.
That's dope, right?
Yeah.
So you were that comfortable. And so we're saying that because, like, for me, I think honestly, it wasn't until my mid 30s or early 30s that I started being able to feel comfortable and ask questions.
Yeah.
Because at that point, I think for me, what it was, right? I wasn't as concerned with like looking like I was making mistakes. Like I was making mistakes and I was doing it. But I think what it was I realized I didn't have the answers anymore.
True.
Right? And I needed advice.
Yeah.
So who do you go to? The older generation.
Yeah.
I feel like, when you're younger, you fight it so much, right? You think about it, you fight it so much because you're thinking like, they don't understand. Your parents are always telling you, don't do this, do that. And I would just say this because I know our viewers and stuff like parents, this is what I would say is this. Put yourself when you were that age, right? Like the biggest thing that I've tried to learn more is myself when I was that age. Now, a lot of times it's hard. When you 5 or 6, it's difficult. Like it's difficult trying to remember what you were like at 5, 6 and how impressionable you were and what was going on in your life, right? But what I try to remember is the innocence and where I was at in life and where I felt uncomfortable, right? And so when you watch the video, the older generation, like, look, why don't you come to us? The younger generation is like, look, we can give you advice.
Because I truly believe experience does not come with age. Anybody can have experience if you make action, you take moves. And I also believe experience goes both ways. Like can also be reversed. The elders can also learn from us. We can also teach you things. So I don't think you should let your age make you arrogant.
For someone that is young, our brain is very active. These people are old. So you can't compare an old person with a young person. An old person does not know how to operate computer very, very well. Yes.
We have wisdom to speak to, and I think that's the thing with us as adults and adults is we have to remember that like our kids can share a lot. When you're younger, you have a hard time trying to relate with your parents, right? Because you feel like your parents don't understand. And I'm saying the parents is like, yo, remember what it was like when you were that age, right?
Yeah.
And understand it. I think the hardest part for me is because I look at these kids and I remember when I was young and the older generation be like, y'all motherfuckers dumb as shit. y'all don't get it. Like, you know what I'm saying? They disrespectful.
Yeah.
Like, like they bad, they this. And I used to be like, man, what? I'm only 18, I'm only 16, I'm only 13. Like, why y'all having it? But then I understand, as you get older, you forget, So what's your thoughts
definitely,
on that?
because, you're in a different space, you got more responsibilities, and so the brain, they say that we only utilize, I don't know the exact percentage, but it's quite low. We don't utilize 100% of our brain power, right?
Okay.
And as far as memory, we don't remember like that interaction.
It's about 10%.
10%. And so our ability to relate back to that time and how we related to our parents and that interaction, it's a little bit distant. You know what I'm saying? And so when we're focused on being parents, we're just like, we just got a parent. We're not looking at it from the perspective of, the child, right?
Okay.
And so when it comes to that kind of like that variance right there, it takes a certain skill set to be able to kind of, tap into a different perspective than your own, right? Because you're an acting adult as a parent, and you have to also think, okay, how is my child going to be looking at me? How's my child going to perceive this? Is it going to be too much? Is it going to be too little? Is it going to be the right amount? Like that's a factor. I mean, you could just throw it to the corner and be like, look, I'm just a parent, boom, 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 you do what I say. And we've seen that before, and we've seen how ineffective that can be.
Okay.
I think that's a key thing to be able to tap into another perspective outside of your own.
It's funny you say that because I was started thinking this. When I have to discipline my daughter, bro, that is the hardest thing in the world.
It is.
Like, and the thing is like, and I've had conversations with my guys, it's like, when you discipline your child, that's not something you want to do, right? You're not trying to discipline your child.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
It makes me think when my parents, when my elders used to discipline me, I'm thinking like, man, and they had to do it pretty regularly. Like with me.
I know.
It is had to be disciplined quite often, just so y'all know, right? You know what I'm saying? So, and I don't think y'all noticed that from our conversations, but I had to be disciplined quite often. I'm like, they had to tap into a place in their life where they didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Because
yeah.
you can't. Like,
You can't.
you're like, I can't let him keep doing this.
True.
Because he's doing this, so I got to discipline him.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be like, baby, it's going to be okay. Like, you can't. You know what I'm saying?
So do you think that has shifted now, where we as parents now are a little bit more cognizant, or do you think it's about the same?
Man, what I realize is this, honestly, parenting, bro, and regardless if the younger generation understand or not, is it's difficult.
Yeah.
Right? I think parenting is difficult in its own self because think about it, bro. You got to protect them from being violated by other people.
True.
You got to protect them from society.
Yep.
You got to protect them from themselves. Especially
yeah.
today, you got to protect them from social media.
Yep.
But I also think what it is we need to spend time with our kids, listening to them, asking them questions,
True.
letting them speak. Don't be aggressive. Like, listen to them and let them heart. But yo, I think too is like we expose them so much that we expose them to elements they don't need to be around.
Yeah.
Like if adults are in the room, when I was young, bro, you
Man,
didn't sit on the couch. Like you sat on the ground, on the floor. Like when I came, it's crazy because that was how my people's was.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, get off the couch, sit on the floor.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Oh, adults are talking. You
That's
need to
a
leave the
good point.
room.
That's a good
We don't
point.
do that no more. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
If kids are in the room with adults, right?
Yeah.
Why are they in the room?
True.
You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, leave the room.
Yeah.
Like, have your kids because guess what? What are adults talking about? What are they talking about?
You're talking about adult stuff.
Man, you said it. I was gonna tell you. I was gonna pass you the flyer and say that's what they talking about. You said it right. They talking about adult stuff.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what do? We be on the phone with our friends. We be on the phone with our girlfriends, our boyfriends.
Yeah.
Be on the phone with our significant others talking about stuff we don't got no business talking about.
Yeah.
We be talking about people. We be talking about stuff, and our kids be there soaking it up.
Yeah.
Man, parents, y'all better check yourselves.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because also obviously my parents are African, right?
Yeah.
And so in the video it actually touches African parents, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny how you mentioned that because I vividly remember like we used to do like parties all the time. Like my parents always used to go to parties in like DC, all the time. I mean, till like 2-3 in the morning, right?
Okay.
And I can always remember they would be upstairs doing their thing, and they were like, "Y'all go downstairs."
Yeah.
And all the kids, and there were times where like the kids and everybody would be kind of like dancing, but for the most part, the parents had their time, the kids had their time. Now, like if there's events, there's phone calls, like the kids are in the room, the kids are around, they listening to everything, and there's no real distinction between kid time and parent time. Everything just gets all mixed together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree with you, bro. It's funny you say that because I remember that. But I think and then when you look at the kids now, it's like I'm not blaming parents, right? Parents do the best they can, right?
For sure.
But it's one of those things where it's like there's no separation.
Yeah.
So there's no separation for kids, no separation for adults, and parents like involve kids. Like they think because a child's 4 or 5, like they don't understand.
Yeah.
But I remember watching a kid, bro, this is a couple years ago, watch a kid playing Mozart. He was 5 years old playing Mozart on the
wow.
piano. Homie, it made me understand, like, damn, yo, these kids absorb. Bro, if you got a
Everything.
kid playing Mozart on the piano, regardless if he's super gifted or not,
Yeah.
right? Like, bro, he's 5 years old. If he can play Mozart,
Yeah.
imagine what your kids are listening to.
That's
So,
big.
the reality is this, and if your kids are off the chain or doing wild stuff, and you sitting there like, man, these kids this and that, nah. Parents,
Yeah.
y'all need to check yourselves.
True.
Now, I didn't check myself. The reality is this, bro, check it out. One thing I don't ever do, I don't drink in front of my daughter. I don't cuss.
Yeah.
I don't have grown adult conversations. I don't watch even movies outside of Disney. Me and my daughter, whenever she's around, I'm watching Disney, bro.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, I don't mind the Disney thing. with the
Bro, I
dog.
love
Yeah,
the Disney.
yeah.
Well, let me say, I ain't gonna say I
Nah,
love.
yeah.
But Disney be tripping.
Disney is tripping.
Disney be tripping. So, but we watch good movies,
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
movies, right?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying to you is this: what I realize is I know I live a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
my daughter doesn't need to be exposed to that. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to the conversation. Is this? I think. What do you think the disconnect is, right, between adults and children? Right? And I'm gonna say children. When I say children, I'm saying 22 and 20 years, early 20s, right?
Okay.
And against adults, right? What do you think the disconnection is? Because most of the young people, they feel like their parents don't understand, or whoever raised them don't understand, right? And they don't go to them advice.
Yeah.
When they should.
Yeah.
And adults don't feel like they can connect with the children because they feel like the children don't understand, right?
Yeah.
What do you feel like is the disconnect?
I feel like there's always that rift, if you will, between adults and young adults. And everyone has their own ego level, right? As a kid, you're like, hey, you're coming of age, you're learning things, everything's fresh, and you feel like you've got like the edge on reality, right? Because it's fresh to you. So you're like, I'm living this moment as fresh as live, and you got these older people who are perceived to just be old and set in their ways and unchanged and unable to learn new things. Even in the video, the young man assumes that none of the old people knew how to use a cell phone, right? And it's just the perception that old is old and young is dumb, right? And so that's where the disconnect is. And I even take it to music, right? When we were growing up, we understood music to be one certain type of way. Hip hop used to be one type of way. And as we get older, we hear different rap, like mumble rap, for example, right? And, a lot of the old heads are like, oh, that's not hip hop anymore. Like, hip hop is dead, right?
Yeah.
And the reality is, it's just a different taste of it, myself included. Because I know I distanced myself from a lot of hip hop because I was just like, oh, it's not like old school. And then you got to really be able to open up your mind a little bit and understand that just because it's different doesn't mean that it's disconnected.
It's funny you say that, right? Like, it's funny you say it. Like, I don't listen to much old rap.
Really?
Bro, listen.
I mean, to that point, I don't listen to, well, except it's like a Wu-Tang or something like the ODBs. Like, but for the most part, yeah, I don't listen.
Because you gotta realize, bro, I really don't. Like I hear cats always talk about, like, like if you go to Drink Champs, right? They be talking about Big L or Big Kane, like, Big Daddy Kane. It's like, I remember fucking Big Daddy Kane. That joke was before my time. I don't even know what Big L or Big Daddy Kane was even talking about.
No, Big L was dope, but even still.
But if you listen,
yeah. Big L was dope.
No, he was dope when you listen to him.
When you listen to him. Go ahead. But I'm just saying, even with them being dope, I'm not even going. I'm like, Nori is dope, but I'm not going and bumping Nori right now.
But that's my point. Like, I remember them, right? I remember them.
True.
But it's like, bro, it's been so long since I listened to them.
Right.
Like, when they say Big L or Big Daddy Kane, like, they talk about these artists, right?
Yeah.
Like, I get it. You gonna reflect
Big
back.
Daddy Kane.
Big Daddy Kane. Like, bro, I literally had to go. I had to YouTube Big Daddy Kane lyrics, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what he was talking about.
Right,
you don't connect.
Yeah.
And it's not like the newer generation, but I listen to a lot of newer generation music. Why? It's prevalent now.
Yeah.
See, I think what happens is, bro, the disconnect, right? The disconnect for me is this: as we get older, we start getting old.
Yeah.
And as they get younger, as they're younger and they get old, like as they raise up in the ranks of life and they get a little bit older, they start getting so manipulated by where things are, right? You know what I'm saying?
Product of their environment, yeah.
But not appreciating history nor future, right?
They believe that anything they read from this piece of technology we have, they believe that it is telling them the right thing. Sorry, I want to take it back to modesty we spoke about earlier on. If they watch the movies now, they see some Nollywood superstars, somebody acting a particular role of somebody who is weird. Then you copy that person's mode of dressing, you copy that person's character, you copy that person's attitude, and you bring it to your everyday life. Then maybe the person that is even acting in that character is not actually like that in real life.
First of all, that point you made is insulting everybody's intelligence by saying that we don't know how to differentiate fiction from reality. But okay, the reason I say that Gen Z are dependent on technology is because there are no other alternatives. There's a phrase people use online where they say go outside and touch grass, right? It means go and get in touch with reality and come back, which is great and fair and really nice to say, right? But if you go outside, what's there for you? You want to go outside, you want to go to, say, a park, you really want to touch grass, you want to go to a national park or something, they will tell you you need to pay, let's say, 5K as ticket fee. You take that 5K and you stand by data for 1 month and you sit in your house and you stand watch Netflix. If you want to read, you can read with your phone. You want to see someone else, you can video call them. Technology is now an alternative to actually going outside to live life.
And I think that's the disconnect. Yeah. See, I think what happens with older generations, they get, like some of the African culture in that video, but it's cultures in general, is they stop staying connected to culture in general.
Yeah.
Because culture is in a time period, right?
Yeah.
Like culture is prevalent.
Yeah, it's somewhat, I mean, indefinite in a way, because it's a part of which you live by. So the culture it encompasses everything. Yeah. And so it's difficult to just disconnect it. And when you talked about that disconnect, what came to mind was who's the guy with the red hair? He had the red braids or twists. Lil Yachty. Is it Lil Yachty?
Nah, he's on my 6'9", big dog.
No, the one with the red. It
might be Lil Yachty, yeah.
I think it's Lil Yachty, right?
Some of that stuff I can't rock with. That definitely is not my flow.
And so they did an interview, and this is like in his early times, like when he was really like coming up. And he had more of like, almost similar to on the Jubilee interview, like a disregard for the older generation.
Yeah. What I think, bro, is the disconnection is older generation are choosing not to connect with the younger generation.
Okay.
Like they just they just don't want to connect.
Just don't want to have nothing to
at
do.
all. Because they don't think they have enough information. And older generation, but my thing is this, younger generation should be reaching out to the older generation.
Yeah.
Like, bro, get that wisdom. Like, you don't got it. Like, you know what I always heard? You know, they said, what was that saying that said? Is the best teacher is experience. Okay. I remember growing up, I used to always believe this. The best experience is the best teacher is experience.
True.
Bro, that is absolutely the most horrendous thought ever.
I agree.
Because think about it. Why do I need to go through something to learn?
Right.
Why can't I go to a wiser being, a wiser person and say, hey,
been through things.
And say, listen, I'm thinking about doing this.
Yeah.
What should I do?
Arrogance.
Right.
It's a level of arrogance. It's somewhat hot-headed, feeling like, look, I'm young, I'm fresh-minded, I know what I'm doing, and let me experience what I need to experience because I have insight enough to experience. You're just old.
Man.
That's it. You're just
That's
old.
what I am now. Look, I went through, hold up. I went through all of this stuff, and now I'm just old?
Just old. And that's what it is. And, I mean, it's life.
It's crazy.
It's life. But I think that we definitely have an opportunity to, kind of shift things a little bit, reaching out to the younger ones, like you said, talk to them, ask them questions, what's going on with them. And I think that they'll be able to reciprocate that, because once they see that you seek interest in them, they may develop a level of trust and ask questions to you as well. You know?
We about to close, man, but I'm going to leave one thought real quick, right? It's like, as a parent, as an older generation.
You old shit.
Excuse me? Say it again. What did he say? What'd you say, Ola? He said what?
He's an old ass man.
Oh, snap. Don't let his shirt fool y'all. That joker my age, y'all. He think it's a game. You know what I'm saying? Hey. But I think it's a catch-22, right? It's like, how long do you overlook your kids and what they're going through? But what do you think? Let's drop jewels for the parents. Like, what have you learned as being a father, right? What do you feel like the best advice you can give parents that are going through things, or experiencing things? Maybe you didn't experience as much, right? What would you give them as far as advice goes?
Man, actually, there's a page out of your book as well, is spending time. Actually giving your children your time and giving your children your energy and letting them see that you are interested in their lives outside of just doing your own thing, going to work, and then providing for them financially, right? Actually spending time with them, enjoying them, letting them enjoy you, and actually spending that time. One of the biggest things that my parents were, able to give me was really just like their wisdom, right? Just talking. Like my pops is huge on that. Like I remember one time in particular, I said one time, many times in particular, standing in that room for up to like 3 hours just listening to him talk. You couldn't go nowhere, right? I'm just standing there, I'm cracking my ankles and everything, I'm moving, he don't care, he's going in. And I'm just like, all right. And then once he's done, I just skirt downstairs. And then mom's always dropped you with, just that knowledge and always sharing that wisdom. I think we have to communicate with our kids. We got to talk to them. We got to let them know that we care about them, and they'll show that they care about us as well.
Man, that's dope. That's dope, man. Big ups. Yeah, that's big. So, one thing that I've learned is, and then most of y'all parents know, don't give up on your child.
True.
But don't never leave them. Like, don't never quit up. Don't quit on them. Don't never look down on. Like the big thing that I've learned is don't talk bad about them. Like you ain't this, you ain't that. Like nah, don't do that. I think the biggest thing is spending time with them and realizing speaking life on them. See, the thing is this: your kids are gonna make this. There's a lot they're going through with, right? Social media. See, when we was young, we didn't have social media, but we had so many influences in our life.
Yeah.
It was tough enough.
True.
Bro, now they got social media, big dog.
It's
And
a whole nother level.
and they don't even know what's truth.
Right.
See,
that's a good
as
point.
adults, when we watch stuff, we don't even know what's truth.
Yeah.
But kids have it far worse.
Yeah.
Parents, do not give up on your kids, but be communicative and talk to them regularly. You know what I'm saying? Just love on them, yo. Bro, ain't no greater gift. Your kids ain't going to stand, but guess what? When they hit 20, 30, 40, they're going to stand.
True.
Just keep being phenomenally great, man.
Absolutely.
Hey, man, we love y'all.
Love y'all.
Have a
For
great
sure.
day.
Peace.
Hola.
Hey,
Love you, family.
Hey, love you too,
Man,
brother.
peace with y'all, man. Love y'all.
Bitch, she with it right